Hello, and welcome to the FinBiz 2030 Building Resilience podcast series. This episode features highlights from the Equality, Diversity, Opportunity webinar, hosted by Sinead Fox-Hamilton and Michael Wall. In this episode, we hear from Caroline McGroary, Assistant Professor at DCU Business School.
I'm absolutely delighted to be here with all of you this evening to share a little bit about my contribution to the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the FinBiz 2030 initiative. So as Sinead mentioned, I have been working in Saudi Arabia actually for the last 7 years. And Saudi Arabia is a country that is going through significant economic and social change. Economically, the country is diversifying away from oil. And socially, there's huge changes around the role of women in Saudi society. And one of the real positive changes is the education and employment opportunities that are being afforded to Saudi women. But as you can imagine, any of these changes actually come with a lot of challenges as well. And one of the challenges that has actually got a lot of attention in recent years is the financial literacy levels of Saudi women. And just to put this in context, nearly 60% of Saudi women don't have bank accounts, compared to only 7% in other high-income countries. So as you can imagine, this is contributing towards issues within the home in terms of making financial decisions in the workplace, and as a result is contributing towards gender inequality. So as a chartered accountant, it's obviously an area that I'm hugely passionate about. And I really felt that I had a role to bring this and to help my students in the classroom address this issue. But I didn't just want to do it in the classroom. I wanted to empower my students to go out into their local communities to really address this issue. So how did I do it? I actually used the framework of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and I focused in on 2 goals. The first goal was SDG 4, which is quality education, and I used that as an enabler of SDG 5, gender equality. So what I did was I designed a series of financial literacy workshops, and I did this in conjunction with a number of industry partners. And some of the partners included One Young World, Chartered Accountants Worldwide, Chartered Accountants Ireland, Deloitte, the Saudi Central Bank, Financial Planners U Consulting, and there was a lot more other partners as well. But together we designed workshops all around the importance of savings, financial planning, investing, credit reporting, the risks of debt. And the students got to learn about this both on a personal level, but in my classes as well. They were also running a business simulation, so they got to apply it in a business setting. Now, the feedback from this was absolutely phenomenal and so positive. And so many of the students reported changes in their financial behaviors, their financial knowledge, and their financial attitudes. But as I said, we didn't just want to leave it there. We wanted to empower the students to bring this knowledge out into their local communities. So we asked the students themselves to come up with financial education solutions for 4 groups in Saudi society: children in schools, women in the workplace, women at home, and women in higher education. And just to give you an example of one of the initiatives that the students took on, so I had one group of students that went out into a local school, and they worked with 7 to 9-year-old children. And they taught them all about the importance of saving and being entrepreneurial, but did it through a series of financial literacy games. So they actually made financial education really fun. And I suppose the real learning from this is the importance of actually embedding this education at the school level, whereby students actually get an opportunity to develop these skills at a really young age. Another initiative was a hackathon that was hosted by Deloitte in their Deloitte Digital Centre in Riyadh. And this actually gave the students an opportunity to bring what they had been learning in the classroom and their ideas from the classroom out into, I suppose, a space where they could actually see how to implement them. And to have that expertise help them do this was really phenomenal. And actually, one of the groups actually designed a set of financial literacy podcasts for women at home. And they actually got private funding to bring this idea actually to fruition. So this was hugely impactful. On the subject of impact, this particular initiative, it's something we're incredibly proud of. There was nearly 200 students involved directly. As I said, those students then worked in their local communities. We had a university showcase event where the students shared their ideas with the wider university community. We then had a social media campaign which ran around the whole initiative, which reached over 1 million social media users. We also have been nominated for 3 awards, the DCU's President's Award for Excellence in Teaching, Innovation and Engagement. We've recently presented this work at the American Academy of Management Conference. And the feedback from this is that initiatives that are centered around achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals needs to be replicated across business schools all over the world. So this was hugely impactful. We also had the support of some really high-profile sponsors. And again, just to mention the phenomenal support we got from One Young World, Chartered Accountants Worldwide and Chartered Accountants Ireland. But we also had the support of one of the most high-profile women in the Middle East, Princess Rima bint Bandar Al Saud, who is the Saudi ambassador to the United States. And to have someone like that endorsing the work that we are doing in a classroom really shows the impact of what we are doing. But with all of that, I suppose one of my fondest memories of all of this work was one of my students actually coming into my office and saying to me, as a result of her doing this financial literacy course, she felt empowered to actually help her father make an important financial decision in the home. She explained to me that this was not something that was normal in Saudi society for a woman in the home to engage in this type of decision making. And she said that it was only from this course that she really had the confidence. And what I really believe from this is it showcases that an initiative like this, if that's the impact that it has in one home, if that's replicated across homes, whether it be in Saudi Arabia or other countries, that is where the true impact is. And it really, in this particular case, it shows the impact that we can have in terms of gender equality. But just on a final note, I really want to acknowledge that this entire idea was born from the work of the FinBiz 2030 task force. And as I said, the entire focus of this task force is to mobilize the finance and business community to achieve the SDGs. And as I said, I focused in on 2 of them, SDG 4, quality education, and SDG 5, gender equality. But I just really want to acknowledge that I believe that this is a perfect example of your work in action. Thank you.
To hear more podcasts or to find out more about FinBiz 2030, go to finbiz2030.com. Join the conversation using hashtag FinBiz2030. FinBiz 2030 is a joint initiative between One Young World and Chartered Accountants Worldwide. This podcast is produced by Big Top Multimedia. The original webinar series was produced by Be There Productions and Big Top Multimedia. Special thanks to Pexels.com.